Okay, we've been talking about Jesus' ministry. And one thing he did was to tell stories to people in order to demonstrate certain truths and certain things the way the world is. And Jennifer, would you get me the small spiral bound notebook out of my purse? I forgot to bring it up. He told a story one time about a man who went out to sow seeds. Now, when we plant seeds, we usually put them in the ground. Thank you. And then I lost my notes. There we go. We usually put them in the ground at special spacing when we do our garden. But when you're sowing large fields, how they would do it, like wheat, they would take a handful of seed and they would throw it out like that so that it spread out even. Just all over, so that the whole field would grow up into the whatever crop they were planting. Wheat would have been probably the most common crop at his time in this place. So he said there was a man who was out sowing. And when he did, some of his seeds fell on the path. They fell on the road. Some of them fell in the rocks. Some of them fell in the weeds. And some of them fell on the good ground. That was all plowed up and ready for seed. The seed that fell on the path, and I always get it mixed up, so I wrote down my notes. The seed that fell in the path, the birds came and ate up. So let's move our birds over to the path. The birds came in and ate them up before they could take root. And the seeds that fell into the rocks, they sprouted and they started to grow. But there was nowhere for their roots to get down and get any water, so they just burned up and died in the sunshine. The ones that fell into the weeds, they started to grow too, but then the weeds choked them out and they died. But the seeds that fell in the good ground, they sprouted and they grew and they produced wheat. Some more wheat than other in some sections, but they all produced wheat that fell in the good ground. Well, his apostles later asked him, "What are you talking about? What did that mean? What was the point?" And Jesus said, well, the sower is the one spreading the word of God. The seed is the word of God. The seed that lands on the path is when you tell someone about Jesus and about the Bible, but they don't understand. So you might as well have not even thrown it there. It goes away. Nothing happens. Sometimes when you tell someone about Jesus, they understand and they get excited and they're happy. But then when they after they have served God a short time, then people begin to tell them they're wrong, and they get a little persecution, they get trouble, bad things happen because life happens to everybody. So bad things happen. So they quit serving God. So that's like the plants that tried to grow in the rocks that had no depth of root. They couldn't grow. And so those plants or those hearts to serve God died. The seeds that fall in the weeds are the ones who they learn about Jesus and they're excited and they accept Jesus in their heart and they grow, but then something happens and they start maybe missing church a little bit, and then they start missing church a little more, and then they forget to read their Bible and they forget to pray, and life chokes out their service to God so that they quit serving Him. But when someone learns about Jesus and accepts Him in their heart, and they make sure that there are no weeds in their heart, and they make sure they have the depth they need to go deep, they will grow and produce fruit. And do you know what the fruit of God is? Let's see if I can get this on. The Bible tells us the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, Huh? Long-suffering. There's
Gentleness.
There's 9 of them, and sometimes I can remember them all, and sometimes I can't. I didn't write that. Faith is one. So there are nine fruits of the Spirit that we produce if we are good ground and we start serving God. And the fruit, do you guys remember your biology? What is in the fruit? What's inside? The seeds are in the fruit. In the middle of your apple is the apple seeds. So when you produce the fruit of God, then the seeds are there to be sown so someone else can learn about God and come to Jesus. So we don't want to be like the hard path that doesn't even understand. We don't want to be like the rocks where things upset us and we quit serving God because of upsetting things that happen. We don't want to be like the weeds where we let the world choke out our service to God. We want to be good ground. We want our hearts to be ground that produces God's fruit. Okay, let's sing our song. The Lord is my shepherd.